the implicit versus explicit memory. These are two different types of long-term memories, and my goal is try to recall them fast and explain what they are. So the memory palettes that I'm going to be using is in Counter-Strike. This is Dust 2. Dust 2 is the main map that most people actually know how to use or remember when they play Counter-Strike. This is Global Offensive. So this map is in the terrorist side, and so in terrorist side you're gonna be observing this side of the place. Okay, this is called I think terrorist T-spawn. Yeah, I think it's just called T-spawn. T-spawn outside of Upper Tongues. Okay, so that's Upper Tongues over there. So this is T-spawn. Okay, and so at T-spawn you're going to notice a person coming out of here, right? So this is me, right? I'm coming out. I see a person named DD. DD is a character from Dexter's laboratory. Okay, DD came out, right? And on her left and on her right is Dexter and Mandark. Okay, they're just there for randomness. She's coming out. She say, "Oh, hey Dexter, hey Mandark." That would be a declarative memory. You know that. Something you should know. You know, semantics is basically the accumulation of knowledge that you just gain over time, and these are just facts. Okay, and basically she's saying, "Oh, hey Dexter, hey Mandark," and then this person right here is Shaq. Okay, Shaq is DD's ex-boyfriend. Okay, she comes out. She say, "Hey Dexter, hey Mandark." And then she sees Shaq, and Shaq's, you know, on his knees saying, "Please marry me." And Dee Dee said, "No, you're my ex-boyfriend. I don't want to talk to you anymore." And she looked at him as if she had a traumatic experience with him. That traumatic experience can be anything that you can imagine. Okay. And so, you know, this is Shaq. Okay. And Shaq, you know, is on his knees, and she says, "You're my ex." And so that would be an example of explicit memory, right? Because she was able to recall Shaq's name, Dexter's name, Mandark's name, all around her, right? And Shaq specifically, she called him the ex-boyfriend, right? And so explicit ex-boyfriend, consciously being able to express a semantic memory, a fact that Shaq's name is Shaq. Okay, and you know, the traumatic experience that I was mentioning is an episodic memory. So it's an event or experience that she had with Shaq that she remembers, and so it would be a form of long-term memory. Okay, and so, you know, you can imagine her facial expressions. She's like, "Oh, hey Dexter, hey Mandark," and then she looks at Shaq with terrifying eyes. Okay, and then now Shaq is like insistent on forcing Dee Dee to marry him, and Dee Dee said, "No, leave me alone." And so she runs off, right? She kicks this ball and she starts to grab this tire, right? And this tire actually has pedals on it, right? And so she's like kind of on it, like a unicycle. I forget what those kind of one tire bicycle things are called. But basically, she basically was able to travel faster with this tire with a pedal on it. Okay, she's like in the circus act, right? She's going really fast, getting away from Shaq, right? She goes towards, tries to go around to get to Upper Tons so she can escape to B. But the thing is that as she's going right here, right? She's going. This car right here suddenly activated like a Tesla and then drove forward really fast, hitting Dee Dee. Dee Dee falls down. Everyone started crying, right? Shaq is like, "No! No, she's dead. She's losing so much blood." And then suddenly she comes back up. Why is that? Well, she's actually immortal. She's a vampire. And because she's immortal, you know, we can think, so immortal has two letters in it, you know, the first two letters being IM, so that's implicit, right? And immortality doesn't have to do anything with implicit memory, actually. Actually, it can be. You know, if the body has a procedural memory to just regenerate whenever it just has dying cells. But that's something for you to maybe remember if you like that better. But basically, when Dee Dee was grabbing onto this, right, and using it as a pedal, using it to travel faster, that's a procedural memory right there. She learned how to do this before, and she learned how to do it permanently. Okay, even if she was very dumb, she would still have the procedural memory to be able to do this. Okay, and she'll go over, get hit by the car, and as it turns out, everyone found out that she's immortal, and hence implicit procedural memory. So there's a linear sequence, but at the same time, it's a little off. But if you follow the sequence carefully, you know, from the beginning where she mentioned her ex, so Shaq, you can explicit. You could just imagine Shaq, right? Imagine Shaq. Imagine her saying his name. And a traumatic experience. So episodic memory, semantic memory, declarative memory, explicit memory. Now the next one, the next stage is for her to do an action that is involved with, you know, procedural memory. But she basically not died, but she got hit by a car really hard, enough for any human being to die. She's immortal, implicit, immortal, procedural. Bam. I know this is a very elaborative story, but from my experience, I actually forgot implicit versus explicit many times. I tried to reason it out, but I couldn't figure out how to like recall or immediately recognize that explicit memory is actually declarative memory. So I have to use this memory palace. You can use this memory palace as well if you're experienced with CSGO. So that's my story, and